sweetest sound, but I've been forsaken, rejected and confused. Oh, depression on my sleeves, suicide on my mind, everywhere I go. Oh Lord, I put my trust in you. Everything seems fading away. Every hope seems falling apart. Oh no, I'll never give up on you. 'Cause everything seems fading away. Every hope seems falling apart. Oh no, I'll never give up on you. I want to come this far to worship you, then turn away, look away from you. Go down, go down. I want to come this far to worship you, then turn away, look away from you. Go down, go down. I will wait on you. I will trust in you. I will follow you till I see you face to face. I will wait on you. I will trust in you. I will follow you till I see you face to face. I want to come this far to worship you, then turn away, look away from you. Go down, go down. I want to come this far to worship you, then turn away, look away from you. Go down, go down, go down, go down, go down, go down. I will wait on you till I see you face to face. Go down, go down, go down, go down. I will wait on you till I see you face to face. I want to come this far to worship you, then turn away, look away from you. Go down, go down, go down, go down, go down.
All right, say no to suicide. That's the message right here. And I told you we're going to be looking at depression, and you heard that song, inspirational. I have to say, very inspirational, coming from someone who majors in the entertainment world and also has that spiritual consciousness. You know, it's a Friday, and I told you it's the TGIF edition. So we're going to be looking closely at that, and we're looking at depression and how one can face the life challenges. All through Mondays to Friday, what we get is calls, and people keep lamenting about the economic situation, and some people go as far as taking their own life. Say kujo to that, and that's why we're saying kujo. No way. So with us, we have that the brain behind that beautiful song you just heard, and she's with us right here in the studio. She's a gospel artist, a creative artist. She's a producer and also a pastor. Interesting. We have Lilian Nneji. It's
Good
nice to have
morning.
you.
Thank you. Thank
Very
you
good
so
morning
much.
to you.
Good morning to you too.
So first of all, it's Friday. So what informed your dressing this morning?
Kojo,
Kojo,
never,
say no to
never
suicide.
say no to suicide.
Interesting.
Yes,
I like
yeah.
that. Anyway, first let's talk about your song. What inspired you to write that song?
Once upon a time I was depressed. I was really, really depressed, and I was at the point of taking a very drastic decision that was enough to take me off, either off this earth or off the lane of Christ. So, and God said to me, Kojo, man, you won't come this far and give up. So I responded, and I said, yes, Kojo. So I took my pen, and every word he said to me, I started writing. And if you, from the content of the song, it's just, you won't come this far. Looking at the whole situation, we've been through thick and thin, and after all, you just take your life? No. So I said to myself, no, not going anywhere. We'll be here together, and we'll weather it together, and we'll come out together. And I'm looking fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah, I have to say that you're looking very fantastic. But anyway, we look at people and they've had experiences, their fair share of depression and their fair share of frustrations. And what do you say to people like that when you get to hear stories about people that are depressed?
Wow, interestingly, it has become an everyday affair because of the economic situation, family issues here and there. And I must say to you, since this song has been released, I thought mine was the most serious until I heard several other stories. And I could just say to them, if you are alive, what it simply means you have hope and there is a way out. So I keep saying to them, try again. If you fail the first time, you fail the second time. Even if you fail the third time, it's not enough to take your life. It's not enough to go back. So what you need to do is say to yourself, you failed. Pick yourself up and try again. So you keep trying again, you keep trying again and again and again until you succeed.
Wow. Well, it's not everybody that has that mental power, the will power to be able to withstand the forces that life will throw at you. Someone said, if life throws lemon at you, make
it a lemonade
out of it. But it's not everybody that has that willpower to be able to think or withstand the pressures of life. Now, what do you say to those kind of people who are on the verge of giving up? So many people are on the verge of giving up.
It's about what you think. Depression don't just start. It comes from oppression. From oppression, it takes you to depression. So it's a journey. Depression don't just come like that. You must have gone through oppression. It's either you are being oppressed in the office, it's either you are being oppressed in your home as a wife, as a husband. It's either anything can happen. It's possible. There are many ways that you could have been oppressed. But the truth is, whatever way it is that you have taken yourself through, you need to know that you have been oppressed, and that alone is what is causing you the depression. Okay? So what you need to do is say to yourself, I have failed. And that's the same statement I said to myself. In this situation, it has gotten this bad. I need to pick myself up and I need to move on. I've seen people that because of one thing or the other, they made up their mind. In fact, I met with a young guy, I'm sure he's listening to me right now, and he had already made up his mind to take his life, and this was between Friday, and he was going to do it on a Tuesday. On a Tuesday. So we met on Friday, and his decision was going to happen between, I think it was a Wednesday. So I went there to minister, and so he said to me, that I was going to take my life the coming week. And I said, what happened to you? What could it be? A young guy like you is less than 30. So I said, what could it be? What is that situation? And so he said to me, what am I living for? He said, what am I living for? I said, you have a lot of reasons to live. You have 1,000,001 reasons to live. And I said, tell me that situation. I realized he has been called a failure. He didn't know himself as a failure, but somebody called him a failure. And he got home, he looked at the mirror, and he said, you know what? I am really a failure. And there's no reason for me to live. And that was it. So he made up his mind that since nobody cares about me, nobody sees anything good in me, nobody ever believes I can amount to anything. And that's the situation that we have. Quite a number of people, it is not about them, it is about the names that people have called them. So he made up his mind that he was going to take his life. And what did I do? I didn't have to even do anything much. I prayed with him, yes, but I said to him, I said, go home, look at yourself again in the mirror, say to yourself, I am a success. Take the inner eyes, look through yourself, and get strength out of you. And today, I'm so grateful to God because he's doing well. The same person who sees himself as a failure is the same person who is achieving. So it's about our mindset. There's a way we just program us. You know, there's this thing they talk about, your phone. Yeah. When it develops issue, they say, go and do a reset. So quite a number of us, we need to do a reset on our thinking, on our minds, so that you don't just end up in depression for something that just one little thing could have brought you out of it.
Anyway, we're speaking with Lilian Nneji, and she's a creative artist. You heard us sing in that video, saying Kojo, and as a matter of fact, I'm saying to you, if you're witnessing or going through a form of depression, low spirit at the moment, it's very important that you say no to suicide and saying no to that thing that might want to make you take your own life as a result of low self-esteem or perhaps depression. Right now, we're speaking with our guests, but I want to inform our viewers that our phone lines officially open, and you can call us in through the numbers that are displayed on your screen right now. We'd love to get your own experience. We'd like to get your own side of the story in case you have any experience of someone who has been through depression or who is going through depression, or perhaps you're the one going through depression. Could you call us in and let's talk and see how best we can relate with you? We have a pastor who also is an inspiration to many people, and she's been able to touch many lives through our song ministration. And also, you can be part of this program on our social media pages. It's very simple. You can go to our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and all you have to do is search for Superscreen TV NG. And Superscreen TV NG is our handle, and when you get there, please ensure to follow us and leave a comment. Let's get talking. I'd really appreciate that if we get your own feedback. That would be wonderful. And on YouTube, you can catch this edition of Super Dawn and the previous editions that we've done. There's an arsenal of Super Dawn for you to catch up with. All you have to do is go to youtube.com and search for Superscreen Live TV. There you'll be exposed to an array of options from the previous edition of Super Dawn that we've done. Would really love to get your own side. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button once you're there. And when you're calling us into the program with our phone numbers, always ensure that you don't use profane words or you use vague language. We do not encourage that. And please ensure to turn down the volume of your TV set. We'd love that. As we go back to our conversation with you, you said something about the economic situation. And first of all, we know that that's a major contributing factor to depression. Now, what's your assessment? What do you think about Nigeria's current economic situation?
Amazingly, Nigeria as it is enough to get everyone depressed. And I must say to you, like I was speaking to someone yesterday and I said, Nigerians are depressed. because you keep working, you don't find the evidences of what you are doing. But whether we like it or not, if you drop dead today because of the economic situation of Nigeria, it does not stop the movement of Nigeria. Nigeria will still move ahead. So what you need to do, and like I always say, even in this same country, there are people doing legitimate businesses and they are making it. So all you need to do is find your path. And I'm so amazed at what our youths are doing these days, all in the name of the economic situation of Nigeria. There are youths doing legitimate businesses and they are prospering in all they are doing. So it's not enough. Kojo is not enough for you to take your life because of the economic situation. Whether you leave or you don't leave, the economic situation stays. It gets better if we all can pray. And so we are trusting God that the situation of the country changes. But I still say to you, Kojo is not the reason why you should take your life.
Okay, so many people say they blame the low self-esteem as another contributory factor. I mean, you see people and the way they assess themselves. You said something about someone sharing an experience that you had about someone who says to himself, maybe perhaps people have said he's no good, and he said to himself that he's no good. That's low self-esteem. How can we address the issue of low self-esteem?
You know, depression itself has been defined as persistent sadness. Persistent sadness, when you have sadness inside of you. Now, for such a person, you're already suffering low esteem.
Okay, you know what? Let's speak with Taiwo, who is calling from Akonjo. Taiwo, good morning.
Hello?
Good morning, Taiwo. Welcome to Super Dawn.
Hello?
Taiwo, good morning. Go ahead, please. Hello, Taiwo. Hello, are you there? No, I think we lost the call. Taiwo, please do us a favor and call us back. Would love to get your contribution. I really want to hear what you have to say regarding the topic we're discussing today. Okay, back to what you were saying.
You know, when you have low esteem, it's two ways. You know, I talked about somebody who somebody said to.
Yeah.
Some other persons, it's a personal thing because you feel the people you graduated with are doing better than you are doing, and you're already saying to yourself that you are a no good. No. For the fact that they are doing well and you are not, all you need to do is find your path. Find your path. Locate your path. You can't use the...
Okay. So sorry, we have Taiwo calling back from Akonjo. Taiwo, welcome to Super Dawn.
I'm not there. I'm not there.
Taiwo, go ahead. We can hear you. Please go ahead, Taiwo.
Hello?
Please go ahead, Taiwo. We can hear you.
Okay. Well, I just want to say a job well done to her. I'm not doing to her fault. I wish her the best. And I want to ask you a question. How do we call depression?
Very much, Taiwo.
If I
You
heard her right,
heard
she
what?
said, how do we cope?
Depression.
How do we cope
Yes,
depression?
how do we cope? That's the question she said.
You know, I said it's a persistent sadness in you. That's what becomes depression. Now, the only way you can cope it, the best way to cope it, is stay positive. Stay positive in all of your dealings. I've been through it. And I must say to you, I'm excited. Over every disappointment, I'm excited. Every over issues, I'm excited. So I just say to myself, I need to stay happy. I need to stay positive. Whether I'm doing well, I'm not doing well, I want to stay positive. I don't see no evil. I think no evil, and that way, depression will be far away from you. I've been through it. I came out not with strength, not with so much money, no, but because I decided to stay positive. So I've had my ups and downs, but I've said to myself, hey, I'll be happy. So
So being happy is the
it's a shortest way out.
you know, some people will say happiness is cheap and it's cheap, but trust me, when you sometimes you find you've been in a situation where um, you've lost something and nothing seems to excite you anymore. I've been there, and I'm telling you, it's a bad experience. And before we get back to being happy, let me just tell you something, and I really want to find out your view about this. Some people are in depression, but they don't know that they are in depression.
Yes.
Can you explain exactly what that means?
Now, there are signs of depression. There are so many symptoms which I cannot exhaust here. When you
I'm so
you have a
sorry,
call?
we have another
Okay.
call from Ijoma. Ijoma is calling from Dr. Emily. Good morning, Ijoma.
Good morning.
Please, let's get your contribution.
Hello?
Go ahead, Ijoma, please.
Hello?
Go ahead, Ijoma,
We can hear you.
Okay. My name is Ijoma from the Bruno, and I want to ask a question.
Okay.
There are some signs of depression that we overlook. I really want to know the signs of depression that we overlook, that we don't feel I'm depressed. What are the signs of depression that we don't, I'm not that, this is not depression. Can I have the signs of depression that we overlook?
All right, fine. Very good question.
Okay, thank you.
Response.
Thank you for calling Ijom. I was just about saying one or two signs that you need to observe.
Yeah.
If suddenly you begin to lose interest in those things that excite you, depression is in you. I'll give you an instance. You are someone who loves to eat at ease, and suddenly you discover that you don't even want to see food. Depression is around you or is in you. You suddenly lost sleep. You don't sleep at ease. You are depressed. Suddenly, you just want to be alone. You don't want to find friends around or your family. You are depressed. And if you don't speak up, it will lead you to suicide. And I must say to you, quite a number of persons, suicide is not only, even though we know it is when you put a knife, you drink poison or whatever, there are many people, I call them walking cops. They are walking, they are moving on the streets, but they are cops. Cops in the sense that they've given up on themselves. So they are living just for living sake. And when you are living for living sake, your depression has risen to the highest peak. If you don't get help, there is no way you will not end up with a depression thing.
So that's the thing now. Just to add a couple of things to what you've said, and for the benefit of the viewers watching at home, just do a quick assessment of yourself, and you look at some things that interest you, and all of a sudden you don't find it interesting. Your work, you don't find your work interesting, or the things that you normally would derive joy from, and you just don't derive joy from it anymore. I've been there. And I'm saying this because it's not something that is very good. And you said something about seeking help. It's not everybody that can speak out about depression, because there's this form of stigma, so to speak, when a young person, say a teenager or someone who is a youth in the early 20s or late 20s, walk up to you and say, I think I have depression. People laugh it off. They don't take that seriously. And then the next thing that comes is a small boy like you. Why are you depressed?
And honestly, that's the essence of my going out now to speak on this issue, because quite a number of our youths are so depressed. And I must say to you, within the space of 2 weeks, I've spoken to people that ordinarily I would ask, why are you depressed? And it takes you, you see, If you've been there, I thank God we are speaking because we've been there. If you've been there, you will know that depression has no respect. Whether you are a small boy, or you are a big girl, or you are an old woman, no. It has no regard for age. Depression can live anywhere. I give you an instance. 17-year-old girl who has to be the one feeding the parents. She pays her fees, she takes care of herself, she feeds the mother, feeds the father, have to source money to pay for the younger ones, their school fees. How won't she be depressed? How? And she said to me, I've been carrying this. And I said, what have you been doing? So she does many jobs. She's working here, she's doing one maid here, she's doing all that. And she can't bear it any longer.
We have another call from Jason. Jason is calling from Ikorodu. Good morning, Jason. Hello, Jason. Welcome to Super Dawn. Hello, Jason. Are you there?
Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning, Jason. Please go ahead with your contribution. We can
Hello?
hear you. Go ahead, Jason. Go ahead.
Okay, good morning.
Morning. Jason,
Hello?
go ahead.
We
We
can
can
hear
hear you.
you.
Just go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, I want to contribute to dealing with life and challenges, the depression, dealing with life and challenges. I want to really commend our mommy, our weakness, Lilian Nneji. I want to thank her for releasing the album, Kojo, and I want to pray for her that God will continue to bless her. The album has really touched so many souls, so many of us, so many youth, so many adults out there. And I want to pray that God will continue to bless and strengthen her.
Amen.
And for Nigeria, that Nigeria will receive liberation from all the pressures of the devil. Thank you.
Amen.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Fantastic
you.
on that. Okay, you know what people always say about, I said something about depression and so many things. So why did you choose this path to address people who are depressed? Why?
You know, by the grace of God, I have quite a number of youths that are following me. I used to think all is well. Before now, I used to think all is well. Until I created a platform for them. So I say to them, whatever it is, I am that ear that is willing to listen to anything. I'm that ear. So whatever it is, tell me, and let's see if we don't go through it together. And I realized that there are quite a number of them, you know, we said the reason why people don't speak out, don't speak up is because of the stigma. So when they got that move, having me said to them, say anything, and I started hearing all sorts. Some of them who are involved in lesbianism, some of them who are involved in gayism, and they can't even speak out. Some of them, they said to me, I am a girl outside, but I'm a boy inside.
Like a tomboy kind of thing.
You know, yes, and no feelings for a guy. But when she's with a girl, there is feelings. Wow. And I said, how long have you been living? She said, for all I can remember. Okay. Is your mother aware? No. Is your father aware? No. So, how have you been surviving? I said, that's why I'm speaking up now. So I knew we had a lot of things to do. And one of the things I started with her is, okay, let's start with the brain reset. I keep saying it. The brain reset. A lot of information goes in, and that's the manifestation you see outside. So it is what you take in that you manifest. So I said to her, I said, let's start with the brain thing. I'm sure you know you are a girl. She said, yes, I know. I said, so let's begin to behave like a girl. And for the past 8, 9, 10, 11 months now, we are getting to it.
That's a good.
We are
that's a good
yeah,
way.
we are we didn't have to use any drugs. We didn't have to, but it's a brain reset. A lot of information has gone into this youth, and they manifest it. They manifest it. So if not well handled, if not well treated.
Let me hold you there. We have a
Okay.
call from Ayo. Ayo is calling from Maryland. Good morning, Ayo.
Yeah, good morning, my guy.
Good morning. Let's get your.
Please, my condition this morning, I want to ask questions,
Please do.
and the question goes to you again.
Please do.
In nation, when there are killings, no NEPA to do business, people are hungry, protest. Can you call that a depression? Answer question, please.
Thank you.
Can be depressed? Thank you.
Thank you
Ayo.
very much, Ayo.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, I already said from the beginning that Nigerians, we are depressed. Quite a number of us are depressed because of the situations. Even though the killings have not gotten to our doorsteps, for crying out loud, those people, those lives, those are souls, those are precious souls. And because of the whole thing going on, you just sit down and you ask yourself, I have asked myself several times, God, why did you decide to put me in Nigeria? Why didn't you put me in America? Why
I bet we have so many questions.
You know.
That kind of question from a lot of people, though.
So why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? But if he has chosen to put me in Nigeria, perhaps if I was in America, I won't be doing what I'm doing now. So he has put me here for a purpose, for a mission. And so I'm happy as a Nigerian. But even in the midst of it all, we still need to pray. The Bible says, if my people who are called by my name shall humble themselves and pray. I know quite a number of us, when we hear the word pray, they say Nigerians should just pray a lot. But there's no way we can do without prayer. So we still have to pray and trust God to bring us out of where we have found ourselves.
We should also be thankful that you're not in Syria.
Yeah,
least-
or somewhere else.
Somewhere else. Anyway, but it's still the TGIF edition, and we're looking at how we can face life challenges, depression being a focal point. And it's very important for you to know that regardless of the pressures that you might be facing, there's always one who's bigger than that, and
That's it.
always ensure that you find inspiration one way or the other. If you don't go to the Bible, there's always something there for you in the Bible. I believe so. And I was telling someone was talking to me about business, and I'm sharing this experience with everyone so you'd understand. Someone was talking to me about business, and then he referred to a Bible verse and said, go and read this. I'm like, business again? We're talking business. They were telling me to go to the Bible, and then I went there and I saw that what he was talking about was actually true. But anyway, we're still looking at depression, and we're still speaking with Lilian Nneji, and we're talking about that. But right about now, we'll take a short break. And when we come back, we'll still continue on the part and look at the influence that social media has on our youth, and why Nigerian youths, particularly in recent times, are the ones on the bad side of suicide. That conversation is next after this break.
Amazing grace, the sweetest sound, but I've been forsaken, rejected and confused. Oh, depression on my sleeves, suicide on my mind, everywhere I go. Oh Lord, I put my trust in you. Everything seems fading away. Every hope seems falling apart. Oh no, I'll never give up on you.
I mean, it's nice. Anyway, we're still speaking with our guest, Lilian Nneji, who is a creative artist. And there you heard her song. And she's saying no to suicide amongst our youth. And you can always be part of this conversation. It's simple. Just go to our social media handles. It's Superscreen TVNG on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You'll be exposed to so many options that we have there. Lots of interesting posts that we've made there in the past and present. So I'm pretty sure you'll find something for you. And please do us well and call us in. Let's get your thoughts, get your side of the story about suicide and depression that we're talking about today. And back to you. We talked about so many things about depression, but now I want to talk about social media. I just directed our people to go to the social media, but we know that social media has lots of effect, and in as much as it has its good side, it also has its bad side. And nobody would post their flaws on the social media. People tend to post whatever it is that is good. And now, when some youths see that kind of thing, they see some kind of lifestyle that their friends or peers are living, they tend to, judge themselves by that. Right? Oh, if X person is living this kind of life, why am I not living this life? And then they go as far as taking their lives. Social media effects. Let's get your view about it.
Okay, you see, I must say to you that social media is doing a lot of good, a lot of good, and it has its own bad effect. Bad effect in the sense that there are so much lies on social media. So much lies. And when I say so much lies, once upon a time, I won't mention that site. I visit that site a lot because for me, there's a lot of news on it. But I realized, as someone who is also a gospel artist, each time I get to that site, I see a lot of things, and I sit and I say, God, am I not doing enough? I'm putting so much into this, and I'm getting so less results. And I must say to you, I started thinking of so many things. One of the things was, how are they doing it? Is there something else they are doing that I am not aware? And I started thinking towards that way. I started asking questions. But I wasn't asking the right people the questions. I will still go back to the social media. I don't see who is on the other side, but I'm asking them, how can I be famous? So I said, how can I be famous? And they'll tell me, you do this, you do that, you do, and all sorts. And the last response I get, I wouldn't share that out, but it was a very bad response. And which entails doing some things that are not godly. That was the day I deleted that app. I deleted it there and there. I removed it. Because I knew if I continued, I was heading to a place where I would regret in my entire life. So I quickly deleted it. So I must say to you, if you are one of those persons or those people who get responses from social media, some of these things are automated. Some of the responses you get are automated. Sometimes the other person on the other side, you don't know. You might even be getting response from somebody who has failed. And so if you ask the person, how can I be rich? He will send back to you, kill your father, kill your mother. Isn't that enough? So for you,
so many people actually model their lifestyle. Yes, it's okay to have mentors, isn't
mentors.
It? But then when you model your life and say you want to live your life just the way this person lives the life, and you see a life of flamboyance, and you see people wearing expensive
clothes, driving expensive cars.
Doesn't that affect your psychology?
It does.
In terms of depression?
It does. And that's what I said. I said, each time I see, people that are not putting the more effort you are putting. And I must say that because you can ask me, do I know what they are doing? But I'm saying that because I'm speaking from my own side of view. So I'm putting effort, but effort is not yielding anything. And you see somebody comes to the entertainment and comes and do, you know, ja 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 ja, jo, yeah 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 yeah, and before you know, by the day break, you will see 1 million views. And I must say to you, it affected me. And I'm speaking this because of these young arts coming up. So you put a video out, and in 3 weeks, you only have 15 views. And you are saying to yourself, I have failed. Sweetheart, you have not failed. Because...
Hello, good morning.
All right, good morning.
Let's get to talk to Ijoma. All right.
Good morning, mommy.
Good morning. Good morning.
I want to thank you so much for the song you released, Kojo. And I want to thank God for using to release that song. It's been a blessing to me and my entire family. And I want to say I love you so much, and may God increase our message
Love
and
you.
favor in the name of Jesus.
Amen.
I have a question to ask, and the question is, since killing yourself, hanging yourself, taking fiber is not, the easiest way to, it's not a way out. It's the easiest way out of depression. How did you get out of it? How did you do it? And then if I'm depressed now, how do I get out of it? Or if I find someone to press, what do I do to the person? How do this person get out of depression?
All right.
Okay, thank you,
Thank you,
IJ.
Ijoma.
Thank you for calling. She's a darling. She's a darling.
Okay.
A good follower.
Okay, interesting.
All right. Let me share with you. There's no how I say it. I cannot remove God factor. God is the one who did the major job. If he didn't speak, I must say to you, I wouldn't even know where I would be now. At that point, I'd given up on everything. And when I say everything, and you know, like they say, household enemy is the worst that can happen to you. If people that are responsible for your fall are people from outside, your your immediate family can be of help. But when your immediate people around you are the ones that are responsible for your depression, it's more difficult. So for me, that was my situation. And at that point, I didn't know where to turn to. My husband was there. He was also having a fair share of what I was going through. And my children, it was like there was nowhere to turn to. And you know, one of the difficult parts, and I must say to you, a quite number of Christians, born agains, are going through depression because how do you say it? You call yourself a pastor. You call yourself a minister. How do you even speak to your congregation that you are depressed? So that means the whole church will be depressed. So it became difficult for me to even speak out. But one of the things that God did to me was, even after saying Kojo to me, like as if it was not enough, because it wasn't an immediate thing that, solution just came like that. He also took me through a process. But one of the things that he did for me was, he just put a picture of one of a very big pastor in the ministry. And Pastor Isaac, I must mention his name. And I called him. And that's why I keep hammering, speak up, speak out. So I called him and I said, Daddy, I am going crazy. I am running mad. I am losing my sanity. Everything is going, and that's the song, everything seems fading away. I said to him, everything is going bad. I am losing my sanity. I cannot think. I cannot see. Everything is clouded. And he said to me, so, what do you want to do? I said, I'm walking away. He said, walking away? From where? He said, when you walk away, would you ever come back? I said, I don't know. There's no need. If I don't come back, fine. If I go from there, fine. And he said to me, he said, check your inner strength. There is a strength that you have not even used. Say, Lilian, you are strong. On the inside of you is a strong Lilian. And that word hit my heart. And I knew something moved in me. So I looked at it and I said, sir, I know I am strong. He said, no, you don't know. Check. You need to drop the weak Lilian, pick up the strong Lilian, and say to yourself, you can move. And he said to me, you can do it. If you cannot do it, God will not give you something you cannot handle. It is because you can handle this situation, and that is why he has given it to you. So go through it and come out. And I must say to you, that's why I can sit here and talk about depression. If I hadn't gone through it, I wouldn't know what it means to be depressed. I have been depressed severally. I didn't know the definition of depression until this experience.
It's really an interesting story there that you just shared, and I'm hoping a lot of people who are watching and listening that you can find depression by the words of people, and you can also find solace in the words of the people. So it's always very important that you mind the words you say, the things you hear, and how you use your words on people really matters a lot. If you tell someone that the person is no good, the person goes back, falls to the mirror and looks at himself. What he sees might be the way you've actually defined the person. So always make sure that you compliment someone. It's always very important.
Very important.
We really cannot exhaust this topic if we don't look at the recent climb in Nigeria. You know, a trend right now, the federal government in trying to, you know, curb the issue of suicide amongst youth, they placed a ban on sniper.
On sniper.
I don't know if you heard the story.
I heard it.
But is it a move in the right direction? And why do we have suicide common amongst youth these days?
Like you said, if you ban sniper, they will move to another one.
So how do we kill the mosquitoes in the house?
So they will move to another one. Sniper is not the only potent, what is it called in the market? Liquid. It's quite a number of them are there. It's just that if this particular one is selling, everybody faces it. But the truth is, I must say the government are doing...
So sorry, we have the score. Please hold your thoughts. Okay. We have to get the score from Udeme. Udeme from Ikpaja, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to Super Dawn.
Hello, good morning, yeah.
Good morning.
I really want to appreciate Mommy Lilian, you to call her. You have been a blessing to me and that of my family. I have been through depression. In fact, you really helped out. You know, most times in the middle of the night when I try to, do something for me, I will wake up and call you, and then you're always coming in there. And I want to really thank you that, through you I've been able to, come out of my depression, and then I said, God bless you, and I love you, the children. Love you, 2020. God bless you, man.
Love you.
Thank you very much. Udeme calling from Ikpaja. Really appreciate the call. So many support and love there. But back to what we just said. Why is it prevalent amongst youth in recent time? We don't really have much time.
You see, like I was saying, that social media, there's no way I won't go back to social media. A quite number of our youths are seeing fake life. Everybody wants to be rich overnight. I don't know in this generation where we were taught, I'm sure you know, we all work towards going to university so that we can get a good job, work, and make money, which is the process. But you going through university, coming out, I know of somebody who has stayed at home for 7 years after university. He has never worked for 1 day. And I went to wash my car, and I saw him. And I looked at him, I said, young man, what is your problem? You don't look, there's no excitement on you. You're not excited. So he said to me, he said, I'm fine. I said, you are not fine. I said, I've been through what you are going through. I can see it all over your face. I said, what is the problem? He said, I don't even know what to say. That for 7 years, a graduate, and no work, and look at me doing car wash. That young man is depressed.
Sorry, we have another call from Thompson. Thompson is calling from Mushin. Thompson, good morning. Oh, Thompson, please do us well and call us back. We'd love to get what you have to say. It's always very important to get to hear people from different sides, and then we can balance it. There's 4 spheres of the world. There's north,
Yes,
south, and then
southeast.
you have the east and the west. So if we balance the call from Baja, we have one from, that's the north. We move down to Mushin, we have from, so we have to represent every area. So we're looking for your calls, and let's just balance it with the little time that we have on this show. We'd really appreciate that. And we are seeing the messages on the social media. I'll just take a couple of messages. I always say that, so somehow I have to take this message.
Okay.
But anyway, let's get back to what you were saying because of time, though.
Okay. So I said, the young man said 7 years he has not worked. And so tell me, if that young man finds a friend who comes to him and said to him, young man, you want to be rich, you want to be famous, his response would be yes. And if he offers him to do anything bad just to get money, he would do it. And so such person.
So sorry.
Okay.
So sorry. We have Uche calling from Oshodi. I'm so sorry, though.
Okay.
Uche. Good morning, Uche. Let's get your view.
Hello?
Good morning, Uche. Welcome. Go ahead, please. Are you there, Uche? Hello, Uche. Okay.
I downloaded the song and it's about depression. And today is very good song. I am being blessed as we speak about the song. That's just what I want to say.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hello? Can you hear you?
Yeah, we can.
We
It's
can
fine.
hear
Thank you
you.
for calling. Okay.
Hello?
Uche, thank you very much. It's beautiful, though. Please go ahead.
Okay,
What you were saying.
so for that kind of person, 7 years is a long time. Haven't been graduated, all the stress he went through in the university, so 7 years is a long time. If care is not taken, if he sits down and doesn't see hope coming from anywhere, he will look for the nearest chemical. And he can't take his life because he's already depressed. He just cannot put it together. Why? Having graduated 7 years after, no job. You know, sometimes, that's why I started with Nigerians alone, we are depressed. Too many issues making us depressed. And you go to university, you come out, no job. You are working, your boss is still treating you like you're a secondary school student, and so many things. But in all, I'm sitting here to say to you, you need to say to yourself, Kojo, whatever it is, if you have life, you have hope. So if you have tried, you keep trying again. Like I said to that young man, 7 years look like 700 years. But one singular job will wipe the tears of 7 years.
Interesting.
One job, just one job. All you need to do is, if you were working and you were earning 35,000, so imagine you get a job where you are being paid millions of dollars. You would never remember 7 years. And just the same thing that happens to a woman who has been, has been barren for 15 years. The very day he gets pregnant and he delivers a child, 15 years had become a story because the baby is in her hands.
All right, we're going to take some messages right now on Facebook and social media. We have messages from Evelyn. Evelyn is saying, fantastic song, Ma. Thank you for the inspiration. And I hope our youths listen to this and make a change in their ways. Thank you very much, Evelyn, for your message there. We have this message on our social media, and this is coming from Ayo. Ayo is saying, fantastic show. Keep it up. Great song. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Also, still looking at other messages here on our social media pages. We also want you to know that it's always simple. Just do us one and leave where the location at which you're watching from or sending your message. We always appreciate that. We have this message from Joseph. Joseph says, I wish I was there right now to tell her just how much inspiration she has been to me. And that's coming from Joseph.
Thank you.
Okay. We have this other message. This message is from Ifeanyi. Ifeanyi says, great show, great guest, just amazing. Keep it up, Superscreen. Thumbs up for Superscreen. And we really want to make you know that we're here because of you. And that's why we always make it a day to be here every time to have something interesting to talk about. Owing to the want of time right now, when you look at youth and the child and the parents, what makes you think, why is it that children cannot really comfortably open up to their parents? Because it's one of the factors that you mentioned,
It's a big one.
What caused it?
It's a big one. And
Why can't children open up to their parents? But before you answer, let's talk to Thompson.
Okay.
Thompson is calling from Mushin. Thompson, good morning. Hello, Thompson. Thompson has gone again. Thompson, please call us again. Back to the question. I would love that.
You know, for some time now, I've also been speaking to parents because in our time, when you hear your daddy is back, everybody, you know, the fear of even getting, as in your father getting to know something that you did without him knowing is enough to make you say, I want to say what I did. But you see what we have now? They don't want to speak. They don't want to say a word. A young girl, and please pardon me, I have so many stories. So it's life experience, and
Please share.
it's quite better for us to know that these are things happening. A young girl who had a friend. They were just friends, and there's nothing wrong. A girlfriend having a boyfriend as friends. There's nothing wrong. But for her, it was just an innocent relationship going on between two of them. She went to his house, which she has been going. The parents knew about the relationship, so it wasn't they were dating or something, no. But on that very day, something led to another, and she was raped. So immediately, she came to me and said, Mama, something has happened. I said, what happened? She said, I've just been raped. I said, you were raped? How? So she explained. And it even took her time, you know, to be confused, convinced that she could speak
Trust
to me,
you.
you know. So I said, did you tell your mother? She said, no. Did you tell your, and the only thing that came to my mind is, I have a daughter. So it could have been her. So that means, won't she also tell me? So I said, why won't you tell your mother? She said, if I tell her, the whole of the street will know what has happened to me. I said, wow. How about your father? He said, that's the worst. The whole environment will hear about it. So for her, that's enough reason for her not to speak. So as parents, we need to create a good atmosphere to allow these children speak to us. I don't know what we have been doing, but I myself, I'm also speaking to myself. I keep saying to my children, hey, whatever it is, tell me. And recently, my son, his friend, did something, and I heard him saying to his friend, speak to my mommy. She won't tell your mommy. I did something a few weeks back, and she promised me she won't say it, and nobody has heard it. I was excited. So she was telling the boy, tell my mommy. She won't tell your mommy. So the boy came and said, Mommy, I want to tell you something. You won't tell my mom. I said, I won't tell. I promise you, I won't tell. Just tell me what it is. So when he told me, inside of me, I is like, is this what you did? That you not tell your mommy? But for them, they need confidence. They want confidence. People they can, you know, freely say anything to. So parents need to put themselves in a position where their children will be able to speak to them. Beloved, there are lots of things going on. Lots of things going on. Some I cannot even share here because you will be like, is she saying the truth? But I'm telling you the truth. Those are the things going on. So the youths are going through so much rape here and there. I told the young guy, I said, do you want me to take up this matter? He said, Mommy, there is no way you take up this matter. My parents will not know. And if they find out I told you first, before telling them, I am as good as dead. So I said to her, so we should keep quiet. She said, we have to keep quiet. Though I'm still thinking, because I cannot keep quiet. And that's why I'm out. I can't keep quiet. We have to find a way out, and that's what we are still working on.
Basically, and you know, there's this disparity or distance between parents back then. You said daddy's coming, and then the whole children takes to their heel. And then the next thing that comes to my mind is, since when did we lose that parent-child relationship, when a parent becomes a friend with their child? I mean, since when did we lose that consciousness? Since when?
You know, then, growth, when you see a 6-year-old girl, you will know this is a 6-year-old girl. Then, I've also asked this question, and I've asked, what are we doing wrong that our parents did right? And one of the things they said to me was that the kind of food you were eating then were not fast food. So the fast food that we have now has affected a lot of things. So you find a 6-year-old girl, you wonder which of the 6, is it the turned 6 or the reverse 6? So because they don't look their age. So because of that, parents also will find a 14-year-old girl, because she's tall, big, looking matured, they say to themselves, this one is all right. She can take care of herself. So you release a 14-year-old girl. And when I was 14, I could picture what I look like, how I look like. I could picture it. But 14-year-old girl now is bigger than me, taller than me, heavier, everything. So parents also have a way of saying she can take care of herself. And some other parents too. Another thing that happens to them is when the child tells the mother, Mom, you are being too protective. I can take care of myself. So she doesn't want the child to also feel bad. So she also has a way of saying, okay, I won't say anything. I won't say anything, because she doesn't want to hurt her. But in the midst of it, we are all confused. We are all confused. And confused in the sense that mother is trying to also protect the relationship, and the daughter also is trying to buy her freedom. Yeah. So at that point, too many things happen in between.
Interesting. As we wrap up now, your final word. I want you to look in the camera and basically speak to someone who's passing through a challenging period right now, facing the life challenges, as we say. Someone who's passing through low self-esteem, someone who's passing through difficulties, someone who's battling with realizing the true worth of self, and speak to them. Someone who's facing depression, talk to them.
Okay. All right, beloved. I must say this to you now, and you need to understand that whatever it is that you are going through, yours will not be the first, and never will it be the last. So you must say to yourself, whatever it is I'm facing now, I will come out. If it's financial challenge, whatever it is, say to yourself, I will come out. Are you in a situation where you feel, if anybody hears my story, they will condemn me? Man can condemn you, but God will not condemn you. God is waiting for you to speak. Just a prayer of mercy is enough to pull you to this other side. So whatever it is, however it looks, there is always somebody to speak to. I beg you. I've always felt they will make jest of me. They will say, how can you go through? But I've also realized that there is somebody to speak with. So you need to speak up. I'm sure you can, Superscreen can always give you my numbers to speak to me. I'm on all the social media as Lilian Nneji. Talk to me. You can reach out to me if you need somebody to hear you. Feel free. But there's an inner strength in you. There is something strong that is within you that you are yet to discover. Once you discover it, all you need to do, put your head up, put your shoulders high, and walk like nothing else matters. Whatever everybody is saying anywhere, no other voice counts, but the voice of God is what counts. So you need to just get that strength out of you, get it out, and move on. You don't stop. Say to yourself, I'm going to make it. I'm going to do it. not making it illegitimately, but making it legitimately, where you are able to just push, and say to yourself, Kojo man.
Kojo man.
Kojo man. Kojo man.
Kojo, that's the word. No to depression and no to suicide. I want to thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
It's been a very exciting and interesting conversation. And we've been speaking with the gospel artist, the creative artist, Lilian Nneji, and she's really told us so much. I really want to appreciate you for coming.
Thank you so much.
Well, we'll take a break now, but before we take a break, I'm hoping my producers listening will sing this song as we exit. Exit, and you know this song. Don't worry, be happy. Don't worry, that's the word. Don't worry, just be happy. We'll take a break and we come back. The show continues.
Rejected and confused, oh. Depression on my sleeves, suicide on my mind, everywhere I go. Oh Lord, I put my trust in you. Everything seems fading away, every hope seems falling apart. Oh no, I'll never give up on you. 'Cause everything seems fading away, every hope seems falling apart. Oh no, I'll never give up on you. I want to come this far to worship you, then turn away, look away from you. Kojo, Kojo. I want to come this far to worship you, then turn away, look away from you. Kojo, Kojo. I will wait on you. I will trust in you. I will follow you till I see you face to face. I will wait on you. I will trust in you.
Many thanks for joining, staying with us, and we want to appreciate you, those ones who called, and everyone that has been part of today's show. We're so sorry we can't take sports. I really wish we could, but the conversation was too deep, and we just, it's Friday. TGIF, what's your plan for the weekend? I definitely have a plan. I have a plan. My plan is to sleep and rest well. One day I have in the week. That's my plan. What's yours now?
My plan, the same, I guess.
Oh,
Then
the same,
there is
right.
Sunday, I don't miss church service.
Church.
on Sunday. Yes, go to church.
Anyway, so it's been a beautiful conversation, but let's just talk a little bit of sports. I'll just give you that. We know that Nigeria are currently second on the All Africa Games medals ranking. Yes, Team Nigeria, they're second on the medals ranking, and they're just behind Egypt. They're trailing Egypt that are first, and South Africa is third on the medals table. So you got that here from me. Yeah, allow me to see that. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's good. Anyway, that's the much we can take right here on the Super Dawn, the TGIF edition of the program. I want to thank you, and to the entire production crew. You guys are simply fantastic, all the way from Mondays through Friday. And we know that we're transiting into the weekend, and Superscreen weekend will be next to give you something exciting. That will be the Bundesliga, of course, the live action from the German Bundesliga tomorrow. And you want to join us, our studios will be open from 1 if I'm not mistaken, one thereabout. So you want to stay glued to Superscreen television. This is where you'll find a good companion for the rest of the weekend. Harriet, we're wrapping up now. So you final words and then we say goodbye.
Remember, Kojo, depression is bad. Say no to depression. Speak up. Talk to someone. Your father, your mother, a pastor, a relative, a mentor, whoever it may be, in any situation at all. Depression is real and it can actually lead to suicide. All right, I am Harriet Nneji and this is Super Dawn on Superscreen television, and we are signing off now.
All right, and on behalf of the entire